everybody. Today is the day we've all been waiting for. We're picking up the brand new truck that we ordered on March 16th, 2021. And so I'm picking Rachel up from work. I just left work, and we're headed to the dealership to go get it. After we pick it up, we're gonna enjoy a nice dinner together, which we hardly ever get away from the kid. And then we're going to take the truck home, and I will tell you about why we ordered what we ordered.
Hey.
Hey. You ready to go get the truck? Are you excited to go get the truck?
Probably not as much as you.
Are you excited to go to eat a dinner without having to rush to the potty in the middle of the dinner?
That's what I'm probably more excited about, is sit down and enjoy a meal.
Alright, so friends, we're buying this truck from TriStar Motors here in Somerset, Pennsylvania. We're not affiliated with them, and it seems like they have the best deals in the area, so that's where we decided to place our order. You know, we liked what they were giving us for our GMC, which was a huge help. So that's where we're getting it from. We're just about to pull in, and they said the truck was actually parked over at the Ford side of the store. So see her shortly. There's the dream truck. Okay friends, here's one shot at the dealer. There's the old. There's the new. Just getting ready to fill out the paperwork. Alright, good afternoon everybody. So we wanted to go over the Ram while it was in stock form for you all to see exactly what we bought and how it came from the factory. And so I've been wanting to shoot this video for a few days, but it just logistically hasn't worked out. But the only thing we've changed so far is the tires. So we've been wanting a new truck for quite some time, and we're extremely excited that we finally got it. And so just like in the last truck video, we're gonna start with the powertrain and then work our way around the truck, show you exactly what we got, why we got it, and why we got a Ram instead of different other brands that we were considering. All right. So folks, under the hood we've got the 6.4 Hemi. It's mated to the ZF 8-speed transmission, which is a pretty reliable combination. Ram's done a really good job with this setup. And so we chose the 410 gear ratio in the rear axle, and so basically that means that the drive shaft has to rotate 4 times to rotate the rear wheels once. So we chose the 410s because that ups your towing capacity to 16,000 pounds. So we're not really towing anywhere near that, but I liked the performance of the GMC that we had. This motor has a little bit less power, a little bit less torque. But with the 410s, I feel like it's going to put more power to the ground than what we had. Our GMC had 420 and 460. This has 410 horsepower, 429 feet of torque. And we'll show you how it tows. You'll have to check out our RV vlogs for that. We've got a big summer planned. It's not over yet by any means. And so we'll see how this thing tows here shortly. So like we said, it's got the 410 rear end. And we chose the anti-spin rear differential because we do drive this in the snow and take it off-road, so I think that'll help out immensely with traction. So friends, while we're talking about the powertrain still, I want to discuss the Hemi in a little bit more detail. So if you look at the gas HD trucks, and we're going to specifically talk about the Ike Gauntlet here. I don't know if you guys watch TFL Truck, but you probably do. And you'll note that the Hemi finished in second place. And so immediately told me that we didn't want a GM truck with a 6.6 because we didn't want to be driving the third place truck. And there's several reasons why we didn't get a Ford, which we're going to talk about. But when they tested the Hemi on the Ike, they tested one with a 3.73 gear ratio. And I felt like it could have done a lot better with 410s, as did Mr. Truck when they were talking about it. You know, we felt like we didn't need a diesel, and it is a winter daily driver, so we felt like diesel wasn't the way to go just because of that, and the warm-up time, and several other factors. And as you guys know, gas HDs are making a big comeback. And there's lots of reasons for that. And I don't really want to get into all that in this episode, but the big thing for us was this with 410s, as long as it performs equal to our GMC that we had before, where we could do 70 miles per hour on any highway in just about any condition that we've encountered so far towing the trailer. That sets the bar pretty high for this truck. And if we can do just that well, I'm going to be 100% satisfied with the Hemi. So the bottom line is, this with 410s, we're good for the long term, right? There's no trailer that we're interested in that this truck can't tow and do well. And, you know, 16,000 pounds is well above anything that we're considering for the future. All right, folks, so next thing we're going to talk about is the front end of the truck. We chose chrome because we don't like rock chips. I know a lot of people like painted front ends these days, but with automotive paint being what it is, I just felt like chrome was kind of the way to go, and it's kind of old school. We chose the Ram Premium Lighting Package. And so, friends, this was actually a big reason that we chose Ram, and that why we're standing here in front of a Ram instead of a Ford Super Duty with a 7.3. Was because with Ram, this truck's a Bighorn, we were able to get LED headlights, and it was kind of a must-have for me. We had it in the GMC, my Camaro has LEDs, and I hate to downgrade with things. And so it was one of them things that I just really had to have with the truck. And so Ram allows you to get that in a Bighorn. Now, we were looking at F-150s as well, as you know, and with the new 2021 F-150, you can get LED headlights with the XLT. And so basically, at this point in our kind of comparison that we're doing here, this truck and the F-150 are equal, and the Super Duty is kind of down a few notches on our list. So friends, moving along here, I'm really excited to get back to 18-inch wheels. I never really liked the 20s on our GMC. It seemed like they got scratched up off-road pretty bad, and I just really like 18s. I think 18s is a real good size for a truck. So we opted for these instead of the 20. They're aluminum, which I like. They seem easy to keep clean. The Ram front end is coil springs. It's actually coil springs on all four corners. As we move back here, you'll note that we do have the off-road package, which comes with skid plates, and that was important to us. We do go off-road, and so we wanted to protect everything underneath. But then the other thing, and hopefully I'll get a better view for you, but it comes with these beefy Bilstein shocks with the off-road package, and so I thought that was going to be a good thing for ride quality. I've always liked Bilstein shocks. The rear end of the Ram is coil springs, like I said, 4-link suspension, and so you'll know that we do like half-ton trucks, and we like the ride that they provide. I felt like the Ram with the coil spring rear was a good way to go, as it was a good compromise. And we chose not to do the air suspension, and weirdly enough, it actually, when we ordered, was not available for some unknown reason, but now it is, and so I'm not really sure what the deal with that was, but it made the decision not to get it easy, and plus it was like $1,200 more, I think. I think the coils will do just fine, and when it comes to long-term reliability and ease of maintenance and cost of maintenance, I think it's the way to go. We do intend to keep this truck a while, and so I didn't want to have to deal with possible failures of the air suspension. There's not much to talk about here with the rear end. It does need a bigger hitch shank, and we'll talk about that in a later episode. So we did not go with the bed liner, and you'll see why in the next episode we talk about the truck. But we did get the package with the LED lights in the bed, and it does have an outlet back here, so that's real convenient stuff. So friends, the last thing with the outside that we're going to discuss, and it's something that I'm extremely excited about, is these Ram tow mirrors. So far I've only driven the truck like 200 miles, but even with the mirrors in this position, just driving to and from work and back from the dealership, I'm really impressed with these mirrors. And of course, as you know, all you gotta do is flip them up for towing, and they're gonna be out farther, and we should be able to see around the rig way better than we ever could before. If you watched my half-ton video, I believe I mentioned those snap-on towing mirrors that I bought for the GMC. They were terrible. And so towing mirrors was a huge reason we wanted to upgrade trucks. Of course, it didn't really matter which brand of truck we were getting at that point. We could have got tow mirrors with anything. But Ram, as noted on TFL Truck, is the only one that allows you to adjust the convex with power. And so for me, that was points for the Ram versus anything else. And those snap-on towing mirrors that I had before, I could never get them adjusted right, especially the passenger side, because I couldn't adjust them while sitting in the driver's seat. And you know, trying to tell your passenger to do it and to do exactly what you want, and the minute adjustments that you want to make when you're towing, or to see correctly while you're towing, it just really has to be done while you're sitting in the driver's seat, and it has to be done with power. And so these towing mirrors are one of the main reasons why we're standing here in front of a Ram and not a Ford. We should also note that these mirrors are heated, which is a huge thing for me. I'm big into power heated mirrors. Driving in the winter is just so much of a blessing to not have your mirrors be fogged up. I mean, you absolutely need them to see. All right, so the next thing we're going to discuss is the interior. The interior is really what makes this truck. It's, again, another reason why we're standing in front of a Ram and not a Super Duty, and certainly not a GM product. And GM's interiors are just so dated and behind. You guys should know I've only ever driven GM vehicles other than my wife's Jeep. I've had 2 GMC trucks and a Camaro, and I also had a Pontiac car. So all I've ever known is GM. And so for me to buy something else, and especially with the reliability I've had from GM, I mean, it's hard for me to switch. But the interior of this truck is a big reason why we're here. And you know, it's a big reason I was looking at the F-150 too. The F-150's interior might just be a notch above this, but they haven't put it in the Super Duty yet. So Ram, as far as HD trucks is concerned, has the top of the line interior. And so hopefully I can get you some good footage of it. We're gonna do it with my phone because this GoPro is a little clunky for that. All right, everybody. So as far as the inside goes, when it comes to color choice, as you can tell, we chose the light frost beige and black combination. And I feel like that adds some class to the Bighorn interior. And as you guys know, we had a GMC that was an SLT trim. So this is a little bit of a downgrade in trim. The one thing that we've got is cloth seats in this that we didn't have in the GMC. We had leather. And I really don't mind it so much because the details of this interior are so good that I don't feel like I've downgraded at all. And we've added some features that we didn't have in our GMC. And so overall, I feel like it's a big upgrade. So as you can see, it's a Bighorn. We did go with the 12-inch screen. And we also went with the tech package, which gets us the Alpine audio system. So I want to discuss that with you. The upgraded audio is another reason why we couldn't get a Super Duty. So with Ford, you have to get a Lariat and you have to really option it up in order to get an upgraded stereo system. Now that's not the case with the F-150. With the F-150, we could get the B&O sound system with the XLT. But for Ford, with the Super Duty, they seem to think that you need a Lariat and a highly optioned, expensive Lariat to get the B&O sound system and things like the LED front headlights. And so to get those types of things, it would have cost us like $10,000 more. And another thing that this has is the heated steering wheel, which was the same situation with Ford. You had to really option up your truck in order to get to those things. And Ram offers a heated steering wheel in a Bighorn. You can't get that in a Ford XLT. These little details that Ram allowed us to do allowed us to get a truck that we could afford and to build it exactly the way that we wanted, with all the things that we wanted in it. So friends, this truck has a sunroof. Now, it's not panoramic because the 5th gen Ram HDs are still based off of the 4th generation cab. So they don't yet offer a panoramic sunroof in these Ram 2500s. That's probably the only spot in this comparison where Ram kind of loses out to Ford. All right, friends, so we're sitting in the back seat here, and I feel like it's something that we need to discuss because you hear it discussed a lot online, but not quite from this angle, right? So the Ram cab, as we mentioned, this is still the 4th gen cab with basically the 5th gen's interior shoved into it, which, you know, there's no way of really knowing that when you sit inside it. But so there is a little bit of a hump in the floor in the center, and I'll try to overlay a picture of that. But in my opinion, what I'm trying to get at here is there's plenty of room in the back seat. So like, I have the driver's seat where I sit. Rachel's seat is actually back a little bit farther. So we have a 2-year-old daughter, as you guys know, and we're about to have another kid. And so car seats is really the big thing that I feel takes up an incredible amount of space in the back seat of any vehicle that you're driving. This is Sarah's seat. It's not strapped in right now because I just put it in there for the purpose of this video, but as you can see, with her forward facing, you know, there's plenty of room. And I'm gonna turn it around. I'm not going to change the way it's tilted, but you'll get to see kind of how it looks when it's in here rear facing. And so if it was going to actually be latched in here, it'd probably be something like that. And so with Rachel's seat, you know, back where it is, there's just barely enough room for that rear facing car seat, but it definitely is going to work out fine for us. I mean, the bottom of the line is there's plenty of room in the Ram crew cab for kids in car seats, which is really the only thing that would ever be a limiting factor. I mean, like, if I'm sitting behind the driver's seat and it's where I sit, I mean, you can see clearly I've got lots of room, leg room here. There's no shortage of room whatsoever. And so that's the whole reason why Americans these days are driving such big vehicles, is because the car seats are huge, and when they're rear facing, and they have to be rear facing for a long time, and in car seats for a long time, kids these days, I mean, that's why people are buying bigger vehicles. That's why you're seeing bigger cabs. And obviously we could have got a mega cab if we felt that it was going to be an issue, but we chose to go with a crew cab, and I feel like it's going to get the job done. Alright, so friends, I haven't really given you any cons of the F-150, except for, of course, the lack of adjustable convex towing mirrors. And so that's what we're going to kind of discuss now, is why did we choose a Ram 2500 over an F-150 when the two can be built exactly the same for the exact same price, except for this does have the heated steering wheel, which the F-150 would not have. That's the one thing in an F-150 XLT that you cannot get, is a heated steering wheel. But other than that, I mean, they literally both MSRP'd for right around 60 grand. And you guys know we tow a trailer. You've seen our videos. Our travel trailer is a Forest River Wildwood X-Lite 19 DBXL. The gross vehicle weight of it is about 7,500 pounds, but ours scaled at around 6,000 pounds fully loaded to camp. So F-150, totally fine to pull that. Other than if you're talking about payload. And so, guys, when we're talking payload, I really, really want to send a message to people on the internet to be kind when we're talking about payload. And it's almost one of those things, it's like politics. And there's two sides, and neither side gets along, and both sides are being extraordinarily hostile to each other. And I really wish that that kind of thing would stop. I'm a huge fan of half-ton trucks, but I don't have a problem with 3/4-ton trucks either. And so that's where we're going to talk about here. So if you open the door here and take a look at this sticker, and this is where it's located on just about every vehicle, and I'll show you up close, right? So this truck has roughly 2,900 pounds of available payload for the manufacturer. I told you in our last video about my old truck that 1,800 pounds was where I felt pretty comfortable with ordering a new truck. And so there was an F-150 on the lot that I came like this close to buying, and it had the 1,800 pounds payload. Well, then I realized that it didn't have the trailer tow package or the max tow package, which limited it to about 7,000 pounds of towing. And I think it had the 3.21, or maybe it was 3.55 gear ratio. But either way, I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of towing capacity, and so I was going to order one. Well, of course, there's no way to know the payload of the truck until it shows up. And so you would have ordered one, waited all that time, and you never really know what it's going to have until you can see the sticker. And so if it would have been 1,700 pounds, we would have been a bit short. So why Ram? I guess to me, I couldn't see any drawbacks. I did drive one before ordering, and I had absolutely no problems with the ride quality or anything like that. And the other big thing, which you'll see in the next truck episode, is some of the modifications that we want to do start to eat into your payload. So friends, this is the third truck that I've owned, and I want to tell you just a little bit about the other two. The first one was an 05 GMC that I bought in 2012, I guess it was. And I kept it up until the winter of 2016, which is when I bought my 2014 GMC that we just got rid of. And so I've learned a lot from having those two trucks about what I expect a truck to do and what a truck can do and the lifestyle that it allows you to have. Both of those trucks have been a vessel for adventure though. They both have taken me to all kinds of places and seen all kinds of things. And my hope is that everything that I've learned having those two trucks, that now with this one, that I can do all the right things right away with it instead of learning as I go. That was one of the reasons why we decided to get a brand new truck, right? Was that I could feel comfortable investing a lot of money into it with accessories and options and things, because I knew after driving trucks for almost 10 years now, I know how I use them and what I expect out of them. And so I felt like this was a good educated decision and that we chose the right one. Friends, I appreciate you watching this video, and I do want to welcome any new subscribers that we've picked up along our Ohio series. And we had a real good time out in Ohio, and I want to thank you again for watching those videos. Thank you for watching the truck video. There's an exciting build ahead, and so I hope you'll stick with us for it and see where this truck takes us and see where we take it.